Hello, my beautiful friends. I was prompted to make another video today, and I don't have fully a full idea of what I'm gonna be saying. Again, kind of like my last video, so we'll just kind of see what comes out. I'm starting to learn to trust this process and just kind of letting the words flow according to what I receive, because I think that that's just what is most helpful to the people that listen. Um, so I'll just open myself up to that. But first, excuse me. First, I wanted to give you an update on my healing process. I know I've referenced that several times on Facebook and other platforms, and it's a work in progress, but it's moving forward. And I just feel like I'm just making progress, and it makes me happy. Like, it's not easy. Like, holy shit, it is not easy when I'm allowing those emotions to flow, because sometimes the only way out is through, if you know what I mean by that, where in order to heal a wound, you have to allow yourself to feel the emotions that go along with that wound, and feel the pain that was caused by it. So I've been doing that, and so that's the part that's like so freaking intense. But I allow myself to go there, and I've said this several times, and I continue to trust in that I'm never going to be given something that is more than what I can handle. So, I mean, it's pushed me pretty far at times where I've just been like, wow, I've never felt pain this intense, but here I am. I'm still here. I made it through. And when I am brave and I just deal with it and I go there and I allow myself to do that, then that's when the healing occurs. So I don't want anybody to listen to this and feel like afraid of facing the emotions. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons that people kind of avoid going on a healing journey, because they're afraid of what they're going to have to face. But just please know this. Please know this. This is coming through strong. You can handle it. And it is so worth it. It's way worse to keep yourself stuck in this wounded, dark place where you're not really all the way able to connect with your life, or all the way able to feel all the joy and all the amazing energy that's out there for you, because you're just spinning in this back eddy of pain and wounding. So do yourself a favor, like, value yourself and your happiness enough to go on this journey. And my cat is meowing right now, and she probably won't stop until I go take care of this. She likes to go hang out in my closet, so I'm gonna go open the closet door for her so she'll stop meowing at me. Oh goodness. Okay, you can see that closet right behind me there. She likes to go dig around and just see what she can find and hide in all the little nooks and crannies in there. So she's always letting me know that she still exists even when I'm busy doing other stuff. But I love her dearly. She's a very important part of my life. She really has saved my life a couple times. I have been very honest about how I've been suicidal, and she was one of the reasons that I decided not to go. So it's one of the reasons I love her so dearly. So yeah. So that's my little update. It's going well. It's not easy, but it's so worth it, and I'm so excited for, like, I feel what's coming for me next, as far as like just being free of all these things that have weighed me down for literally years, and I can see it like in my face, and like I just freaking glow now, and my glow just like gets brighter and brighter as I go on this. So it's so validating to to see those changes and to feel those changes within my mind and my heart, my soul, my body, my, yeah, on every kind of layer, within my energy, all of it. So that's why I just want to again encourage you to not be scared of the journey, not be scared of what's going to come up, because you can absolutely handle it. And there are people that can help you work through that. I have a counselor that I'm seeing currently. And so you don't have to go on this journey by yourself. So, I'm still in the process of healing, but I know that once I've really, really healed and have released all this darkness from my past, I know I'm called to be a counselor. And so if that's something you want to do and you feel prompted to have me as your counselor, I am so ready and willing to walk with you on that path. So you don't have to do that on your own. So that's my journey update. That's not actually why I was making this video, but I thought it was good to share so that you guys kind of know where I'm at right now. And I've already talked for like 6 minutes. Once I get going, I just kind of get going. But what I was being prompted to share about, and we'll just kind of see what comes up, is my last post on Facebook was about unconditional love. And I've also posted before about boundaries. And it came to me as I was thinking about those two things that some people don't understand how boundaries and unconditional love can coexist. Those who are not familiar with boundaries or haven't been allowed to hold their own boundaries, have had their boundaries, trampled all over, might think that what unconditional love is to have no boundaries, and that is completely and utterly false. So I wanted to kind of clarify that. So what came to me as far as unconditional love, what that is where you don't have any requirements of worthiness. Like conditional love is you have to do these 15 things and act in this certain way in order to be worthy of my love. And if you don't do those things, then the quote unquote love is withheld from you because you're just not worthy. You have not lived up to these certain requirements. So sorry, you failed. No love for you. That is conditional love. So unconditional love is there's no requirements as far as who you are or your values or your beliefs or just your characteristics, your personality, all the things that make you the beautiful, wonderful human being that you are. You don't have to change any of those things. You can just be you. You can just be you, beautiful, wonderful you, and be loved for who you are. And it's not about worthiness at all. That was what my counselor really worked with me on, because I was just like, I'm still healing from this feeling of feeling like I'm not worthy of blessings or feeling like I'm not worthy of love, because that was pounded into me over and over and over and over of you're not good enough. You're never going to be good enough. Everything you do is just not quite there. You can be perfect. You're still not good enough. I will still completely criticize you and tear you down and show you everything you did wrong. You're not worthy. You're not worthy. You're not worthy. So that was what I grew up with all the time, complete and total. And that the amount of damage that did was astronomical. And so that's awful. And I am so sorry for anybody that is in that situation. That's maybe a good segue into boundaries, is that's where once you're able to start figuring out you have power and you have the power to set a boundary and say, no, I am not going to let you treat me this way anymore. Never again. Because you know how much it hurt you. You know how much it damaged you. And how, like, even now, so many years later, I'm having to fight and work hard to heal from the damage of conditional love. And that's, like, love is not even the right word. It's not love. Honestly, that's the definition of emotional abuse. So if you're in that situation, do what you can to get out. You are not required to stay in any sort of situation that is like that, where your conditions are being put on whether you receive love or affection. But that's not, it's not even love. It's not. It just is not. There's a terribly dark and horrible energy in that. And you can see how like intensely I'm speaking about it, because I had to deal with that for years, and I'm still healing from that. But I've been rooting that out and just being like, no more. Like, worthiness doesn't even come into it. Like, I know that some of you guys might look at me and be like, how can she even think she's not worthy? You know, because I do get some idea of how other people think of me, and they're just like, whoa, like, that's so amazing. You're so awesome. This journey you're on, like, of course you're worthy. You're amazing and beautiful and wonderful. And yet, still deep inside, because of those wounds, I'm still having to deal with that feeling of like, I'm not good enough. And it's such a fucking lie. It's a fucking lie. It is. And it's darkness and it's wrong. And you have every right to stand up for yourself and set boundaries and be loved unconditionally. Find your soul family, find the people in your life that just see your beauty and your glow, and they're just like, yes, go girl or go guy, like, I'm so down for this and I will support you regardless. I'm here for you. Like, I've got your back, and I'll respect any boundaries you set with me. So I did want to speak a little bit about boundaries, and because I know I've kind of referenced them a lot, but as far as understanding how boundaries can be part of unconditional love, it's kind of almost two different things. Like, the unconditional versus conditional love is all about worthiness. Boundaries is how we teach the other people around us how to treat us. And it comes a lot from your own respect for yourself. And boundaries within a relationship, if you respect the other person's boundaries, and share your own, and can come at it between the both of you, and just say, hey, this is where I draw the line. I'm not comfortable with XYZ. Then that actually builds respect and trust and love. Like, if you're really in that place where you're like, I want to hear about your boundaries and I'm going to do my best to respect them, it actually is something that grows your relationship instead of tearing it down. I've been exposed to people who, when I tried to set boundaries with them, then they thought that was an act of, like, I was not showing love because I was setting a boundary. But I kind of understand where that's coming from, because I've read recently, and it kind of keeps on coming up, that people who were not allowed to have boundaries when they were younger get confused by them when they're older. Like, since they weren't allowed to have them, then they feel like, oh, that's just the way a relationship works. And so if somebody sets a boundary with me, then how dare they? Like, you're shutting down the love or something, like, it triggers something in them. So I understand it, but it's also something that we all need to, sorry, I'm getting a call, but it's a 1-800 number, so I'm not going to answer. I got distracted there. So it's something that we can actually heal. So if boundaries are confusing for you, there's so much good information online. There's so much good information you can get from me if you want to ask. Boundaries are about self-care. And that's the problem. When you're coming from a place where you weren't allowed to have boundaries, then generally your self-esteem is non-existent. And so the idea of taking care of yourself and standing up for yourself and setting those boundaries, in some ways, like, you don't even know how to do that, or you feel like you don't have the power to do that. But once you figure out that you do have the power, holy shit, like everything changes. And here's the thing. It's a lie that you don't have the power. Like that is a perception filter, and it can be very strong when you're in a very toxic relationship, be that with your family or significant other, roommate, like friends, whatever it is, any sort of toxic relationship where they're manipulating you and controlling you. It can be very hard to feel like you have any power in that situation. But guess what? You absolutely do. You just have to like put your foot down and say no. And just be like, no. No is a fantastic word. It's so freeing. Um and you start to worry more about keeping yourself healthy because you realize that if you're healthy, then you'll have a good effect on the people in your life that you love, and you can be the type of person and that you want to be, as far as like in a relationship or any sort of relationship, again, like with the significant other or your friends, your family. You'll be approaching it from a healthy, balanced place. And so boundaries are absolutely part of love. Like they support and build and are just absolutely necessary for a healthy love relationship with anybody. And so the other thing that I want to that's coming through is don't view somebody setting boundaries with you as a personal affront against you, because it's not about that at all. It's actually about them communicating where they feel safe and where they don't. And if you truly care about that person, then you should absolutely respect that and encourage them in setting those boundaries, and do your very best to walk with them at that in that place of being like, okay, I get that. Or maybe it was something you did that made them have to set the boundary. Then to be able to take a look at yourself and say, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize I crossed a boundary, I didn't mean to, and now that I know your boundary, I'll do my very best to respect it. And that can go so far to mend broken relationships. It makes the other person feel heard, especially if maybe they haven't felt heard for most of their life. Then to be heard and validated like that it's such a boost to them and to you and to the both of you. So yeah, boundaries are absolutely part of unconditional love. I mean, again, I said it's like they're kind of two different things, and yet they're all part of the same thing. They support each other. So, um, so yeah, just be open to your healing journey. To these words that come through that I share with you guys. Again, I've said it lots of times, but I'll say it again. Feel free to reach out if you just want to talk. Like I'm so down for that. And you want to hear about my journey more. As you can tell, I've become an open book, and that is what it's supposed to be. Before, nobody had any idea what I was dealing with. When I was suicidal, I don't think anybody knew that. And I've talked about stigma in a past video and stuff like that, but it was basically because I didn't feel safe, I didn't feel validated. Basically growing up with continual emotional abuse, the effect that had on me was to make me feel like all of my own thoughts and feelings are not valid, because if I did express them, they were immediately shot down and stamped into the ground, and I was punished for having these thoughts and feelings. And so it completely took away the very foundation of my confidence, my self-esteem. And so now that I've got that back, you can see, like, I will defend that like a freaking lion, or whatever you want to compare me to. I will fight you. Like, don't you dare step on me like that. Like, once you've been through an experience like that and you've done the work to heal yourself, you're just like, I am never, ever, ever allowing that to happen in my life anymore, because it's so incredibly damaging. And those lessons that I learned through that, now I can share with others. And I know that I can also share when I do have my own children, where I'm like, I can use what I learned and everything that was modeled that was incorrect. I can be like, okay, I'm gonna flip that on its head and do this the right way and be just like the best mom ever. I know I'm gonna be the best mom ever. I already know that. Just because there's so much love in my heart. Like, I shared this with a friend once, where I'm just like, I think my kids are just gonna be like, Mom, get off me, because I'll just be like pouring love all over them all the time, and just be like hugging them and just telling them every day, and they'll just be like, oh, gosh, Mom. But I'd rather have them be like fed up with my love and know that they're loved than to have them experience what I experienced, where I didn't feel loved, didn't feel worthy, felt like absolute shit all the time. So yeah, they're gonna get the best. I'm excited about that. Paused for a second because it's fun to think about that. But yeah, I just talked for a really long time. But yeah, I think it's all stuff that is really helpful. I know that this is why I'm prompted to make these videos, is because they are helpful, and they do help open people's eyes and show them that there's another better way, and that there's hope. That's what's coming through. Like, when I said that word, wow, like it just hit me, and it's making me a little bit emotional in a good way. There's hope, you guys. You can come from the worst situations, the most painful. You can come from a place where you wanted to freaking leave this life because it was so hard and painful, and you can heal. So I want to say that if I can do it, you can absolutely do it. Like, you can do this. Everyone can do this. It just means making that choice and reaching out for the help that is available, and just putting your foot down and saying, no, I'm not living life in this miserable place anymore. I'm choosing joy. I'm choosing hope. I'm choosing light. I'm choosing the glow. You can see my glow. And when I talk about it, I'm just like, ah! It makes me so freaking happy. Like, to get to experience this, like, it's amazing. And, going through those hard things, of course they're hard. But I've mentioned that before too, is like, when you've been through that darkness, then when you come out into the light, you're not taking that for granted, ever. And that's part of the reason I cry, where it's just like, it's so beautiful, how bad it's been. And so these are like tears of joy and happiness, where it's just like, wow, I'm coming into a place where that damage no longer has to affect me, and I just gotta live. I get to live free from those burdens, and I'm not gonna take that for granted. I'm gonna be thankful for that every day of my life, because I almost wasn't here to enjoy it. That's the truth. I almost decided to leave before I got here. So, having been in that place, now that I'm here, I'm never, ever going to take that for granted. So, wow. Okay, this is a really long video. I should probably wrap it up. So I will do that now. I hope that this resonated with you guys. I love you all. You've got my support. I'll send you all good energy, and if you ever need somebody to pray for you or to talk to, just reach out, because I will absolutely do that. So I'll see you guys all later. Okay, bye.